Hello, guys, and welcome to your first Ikebukuro West Gate Park episode 1. Episode 1 being Northgate Smoke Tower. Now, I said in my What Am I Watching episode that I wasn't quite sure what to expect from this anime. I've just heard a lot of hype. I knew there was a real life drama version of this, I already knew about that, and I roughly knew what it was about. And I really did initially like the art style. So this is something I'm going into completely blind. And I'm impressed. I am very impressed with the first episode. So we're going to go through it. We're not going to go through it as detailed as I would with Moriarty because this is a completely different kettle of fish kind of anime. It's also got very good like banana fish vibes to it. It's got that proper classic anime feel to it. So let's start it up and talk about the open. So we open with a voiceover who kind of gives us a guide to our location. So we find out that Ikebukuro is northwest of downtown Tokyo, and we get lots of like kind of shots of what it looks like. It's bright lights, it's everything that you kind of imagine with Tokyo and Japan. It looks amazing. The tourism of this place might go up thanks to this anime. And we're gonna open with a car chase because that's a cool way of opening. And we see this guy who initially I was like, this guy's probably on drugs. He is. So we're following a guy on drugs driving his car, and he's getting more and more dangerous as he's driving. And following him is our lead, one of our two leads, Makoto, who I love this guy. This guy is, I don't know, fighting for best boy of the season for me at the moment. And we'll talk about his design quickly in a moment, but Makoto is following the guy in the car and he's on a phone and he's coordinating with the guys around. Obviously, I've gone into this completely blind. I was like, is this going on? What's going on? I don't know what's going on, but I was hooked immediately. This anime does look really pretty, but it has got that kind of old style of old animation. And I loved the fact that the voiceover initially was going, everybody is so polite, they all follow the rules. And we see this junkie going past all these people going, get out of the way or I'm going to kill you. It kind of like got this contrast of what's going on. So the voiceover is being all polite and happy, but what's going on is nitty gritty. And this guy kind of hides in a crowd, and then we start seeing they start shoving him forward because they've all got their hoods on. It turns out that the people in this crowd are all working with Makoto and the guy trying to catch this junkie, and they are called the G Boys. We'll get a little bit more information on them in a bit, but this is our first introduction to the G Boys. And the guy gets pushed onto a stage in front of a guy called King. Oh my goodness. As soon as this guy opened his mouth, I knew exactly who he was. Now, if you've been following my videos, you might have heard me express my anger towards a certain My Hero Academia character called Shigarashi. It's the same character. I can't. I love this guy's design. I want to love him, but I can't because of who he's played by. And no hate on the actor whatsoever. I just don't like Shigaraki because I've got a big thing. I love All Might and Shigaraki at the moment just being the perfect villain. He's a villain I love to hate because of how evil he is. But it's the same voice actor, and it just, yeah. Takashi, this is Takashi, and his art is gorgeous. And literally, he's the kind of guy I'd go, ooh, I like him. I do like him. His art is beautiful. I just can't love him. He's got beautiful blue eyes. He's got this really kind of it's a very distinguished look with this kind of shaved back, quite thin to the hair, kind of blonde hair. Normally in Japan, if you dye your hair, you're obviously, they say that you're a rebel, you're quite rebellious. So him with dyed hair, obviously the leader of this G-boy kind of group of boys who are the head hooligan, as we hear him announced later. But he looks so good. He wears a lot of suits, and the colours associated with him, which we're seeing, are like the black, the greys, the whites. He looks great. I absolutely love him. And the junkie pulls out a knife, and I thought he was gonna stab King in the face. He like goes in to stab his face, and he moves like literally last second, and he just punches this guy out. That's it, gone. Love it. And Makoto running to the edge of the stage, and he gets congratulated by King. Makoto's got some really interesting red eyes, which is interesting. Obviously, I am talking about another anime currently where the character has red eyes. This is a different. I don't think he's got evil eyes. Makoto's eyes are red for passion, I think, because they're quite a dark red. They're not like a proper blood red. I think they're maroony kind of red, and they are showing how passionate this guy is. And he is. I fall in love with Makoto. I love this guy so much, and how passionate and how big brothery and how kind of cute he is at times. He's really soft. He's got a very good soft side to him. And he's this darker blonde. He looks like Bakugo, so I'm kind of seeing Shigaraki and Bakugo doing their own spin-off here. He's not the same guy though. The voice actor, from what I can tell quickly, is he's been in a lot of idol animes and he's been in a lot of like otome game remakes. So I feel like I should know this guy, but it's all animes that I've seen like once and haven't. He's not really. He seems to be an up and coming anime voice actor, if anything. He's not been in as much as King has. We hear the voiceover then going, "This town is like so nice to everybody. It's all about peace and love." And then we could get our very cool intro song, and the OP is so classic. It's got this proper classic anime feel to it. It's so retro. The song itself, I'm not a fan of. It's not my type, but it works. It just works. We've got all these like glowing bright colours, these tattoos, these details. We see the main characters interacting with each other, and it looks so good. We've got like this disco going on, and it looks so good. It's so stylized. This anime has swag. Like, if anything, this anime is probably going to be the most stylized anime of the year. We open on a very quick brief moment of a girl kind of playing with a match. And I didn't realise it was a girl, but it's a girl playing with a match, and it cuts. And quick call out to the watercolour style. We've got we cut into like a fruit stall, and all the fruit is watercoloured. It's so stylised. And we find out about our boy Makoto, who I'm falling in love with every minute. He works at a fruit stall, and we can see he's wearing a shirt which says "Smoking Kills." I love it already. Love him already. And he's listening to classical music. It's just little details like this which I really like. And Takashi arrives in his really swag boss car because he's got money. He's really posh. I've even called him at some point a posh tot. He's such a posh boy. You've got like this down to earth Makoto, then you've got the posh Takashi. He has the kid with him, and he says that it's related to the junkie from the first episode, and her name is Mion, and she is 12. The person who we learn that from is Makoto's mum, because Ritsuko appears, and she's like mum of the year, and she tells the girl that you need to keep your face clean because you're a girl, and she says, Makoto, you've got to do the thing, the something, haven't you? And it's like, go mum. I don't think Makoto would have maybe acted, but at the same time I think someone says you can't turn down a child's tears. We know I'm Clockwork Dandy Noodles. I've got to make a pit stop at ramen for a moment. And what I like about this is it starts at the basic miso ramen, even though miso ramen is so nice. Mion gets the miso ramen, and then it gets wacky. It turns into this fruit ramen. This ramen has ice cream on it. Now, I am aware that in Japan there are some hot pot places that do fruit broth. So you go there and the broth is like yuzu, or it's a fruity dish. This is taking it to another level. I've never heard of a ramen with ice cream on it. No way. Even Clockwork Dandy Noodles is like, nah, that's whack. Not doing it. And then King. King has to upstage everybody, and he gets this steak and foie gras because he's a posh boy. Mion's like, is this actually a ramen shop? And we find out that the shop is run by some former G-Boy members. And we finally get some information on who the G-Boys are. So they're a group of bad kids who hang out in Ikebukuro, and Takashi is obviously known as King, and he runs them all. He's the head hooligan. We also get introduced quickly to his number 2, who sat there on the table playing with a coin. And we just find out how much of a softie Makoto is. I fell for him immediately because Mion starts to cry because we find out that Mion's mum has been hit by a car driven by a guy who was on drugs. And Makoto sees her crying, and he's just such a softie. Takashi tells us exactly that we found Mion trying to set fire to Northgate Smoke Tower, which is the title of the episode. That is a place that basically has drugstores and shops inside that sell drugs. The guy from before, who we open on, who King smacked out, he was basically on some drugs that he bought from there. And her mum's been hospitalised, but the guy who did it is basically out, no probation. He's broke, so she's not going to get any compensation whatsoever. And there's no dad in the picture, which King says to Makoto, you're also, you've only got a mum. You should be able to kind of relate to this girl. And he makes a request. He says, I want you to drive Northgate Smoke Tower out of town. Legal or not? And it's just that face. It's like, oh, he's serious. He's serious, man. So drugs are the enemy of the G-boys. Love it. It's a good solid, to be fair, for bad kids and bad boys like a gang, which I thought they initially were. They're pretty moral. They're not doing like drugs, but at the same time, like they are beating people up. But, gotta have some moral high grounds here. No drugs. And Makoto's shirt as well, no smoking. Makoto just says, I'm just a fruit vendor. Cut to Makoto playing a pronoun game, and we know how I feel about the pronoun game. He says, I'm going to make a call, but he does initially says that he tries to send Mion home, and she's like, no way, I'm trying to get like justice for my mum. So he knows the head of the police, and I was like, how does this guy have all these contacts? It's amazing. But that smile, like as he's saying that and he's got his phone, that Makoto smile is I love it. I don't know why I like Makoto so much. Basically says that this guy is called Big Ray, and Big Ray helps him occasionally. I like the fact that Big Ray kind of goes, we've got to do it quickly because we need to get this girl home to bed. And it's, oh, okay, that's kind of cute. And we find out from Big Ray that there is a new drug on the scenes, and it's a narcotic which smells nice. So it says it can cause things like brain damage, and it causes like the brain cells to dissolve. It's got some quite nasty side effects there. Makoto initially goes, why can't you just ban it? But he says the problem is that the police need to confirm that it's illegal. But the people who are making it are adding in so many masking agents that it's hard to break down the substance and get a lead on it. And as well, these guys are finding loopholes. So they're exploiting the loopholes, and it takes months to actually analyze drugs, which is quite informative. He gives us a warning as well. You need to be careful because this is a very important line as well, because it comes back to bite them in the butt. He warns them that dangerous organizations often hide behind drugs, so don't do anything too risky. And that is a very important line. So we see Makoto again telling Rin to go home, but she refuses, and they head over to Smokestack to infiltrate one of the stores that are selling drugs. Mion makes a comment just how ordinary the guys who are buying and selling are, and just Makoto's level of head, just impressed. And he says, not knowing how bad a drug is doesn't automatically make you a fiend. And he says to her, you try to burn people who are not linked to the drugs to death. He's got a very level head on him. We're already getting an info on this character. This character's got a level head. He's got a really good head on him, and he might be kind of half linked to the G-boys, but at the same time, he's definitely got a moral compass. The shopkeeper comes over asking Makoto if he needs any help, and he sees the kid. Mion freaks out and throws the herbs at the wall, and it smashes everywhere, and she goofs. She wrecks this, and they literally have to peg it because she broke, like, obviously some of the expensive herbs. And we get this gorgeous kind of chase scene on the roof, which just looks gorgeous. The light, the fact that the city at nighttime looks so pretty. We kind of get to a point where they find a spot to hide. And Makoto kind of says, it's okay, we'll hide here, it's fine. They probably just think we're a bunch of nutty customers. And then they get interrupted by a guy called Yoshioka. It turns out he's a policeman who has known Makoto for all of his life, and he knows all his dark secrets. And Mion's like, can you tell me something about him? And apparently, our boy Makoto tried to peep into the ladies' changing rooms. So a little bit of a peeping Tom going on here. The policeman tells Mion that he's sorry about his mum and he wanted to do something about that, but obviously they can't because they can't get involved. Makoto tries to ask for information, but he can't quite, cops can't really give information to outsiders. But he does drop a name, which is all we need. We get a name called Okoshi. Is the name of the guy who owns the tower itself. So we've got a name to go on. And oh my god, guys, this guy, so Okoshi looks like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. It's an animated version of Shaggy, and Shaggy as well being in Scooby-Doo. There's been many rumours of that guy being on drugs, especially thanks to the movie. Okay, Shaggy. We're going to call him Shaggy from now on. We meet a hacker. I like hackers. Me and my hackers. This is 01. I love that all hackers seem to have like these names with numbers in them, and his name's 01. This guy is able to get some information. So he hacks into the Smoke Tower computers, and he gets some sales information on their data. He says that the sales are down on Wednesdays, so it's possible that he's closing early to check out his merchandise, or he's holding a meeting, which allows us to further our plot a little bit more, that on Wednesday that Okoshi comes to the shop. We get this really nice sequence now where we've got the G-boys tracking Shaggy, which is fantastic, and we can see that King's number 2 is down on it as well. So it's quite nice that obviously he's not a G-boy himself, so Makoto's not linked, but is able to get all these people in to help him kind of solve the case. It feels like an illegal version of Millionaire Detective going on. It's a little bit like that because these guys are fighting for justice, but they're doing it via slightly more illegal means, which is also quite ironic as I'm reviewing Moriarty the Patriot, and it's similar. He's going for justice, but he's doing it via very dark means. So quite a nice link because, as you guys know, I watched both these animes on Tuesday, and I can't release both on the same day because it's a lot of work. So you'll be watching my release on Ikebukuro on Wednesdays. So it's Moriarty Tuesday, and it's Westgate on Wednesday. Westgate Wednesday, there we go. Shaggy guy, he runs many stores and he drops into an old apartment before going home daily. And they've also managed to get a lockdown on the code because these guys are so efficient. So our next step, we've got King, Makoto, number 2 and Mion. We're in front of the apartment. Mion and number 2 are told to wait behind, so they wait in the car, whilst our boys go and infiltrate the apartment, which turns out to be an illegal drug factory. So they're able to nab some of the drugs, which we see later they place, and they're able to kind of plant drugs on the drug sellers. In the car, Mion and number 2, we get a nice little interchange where Mion says, "Are you close to Makoto?" And we find out that he's not one of us, he's just somebody that King knows. And Mion sees the guy from the smoke tower approaching. He's here early, so she panics. She gets out the car and lobs a rock at him to act as a distraction. So he shouts. With him shouting, the guys in the apartment can hear that he's here. As he goes in to grab Mion, Makoto boots the guy in the face, and it's the hug at the end of Mion and Makoto. He has got, even though she says that he's more like a dad figure, I kind of feel like he's a bit more of a big brother figure. He has this really kind of big brother kind of feel to him. I love it. And then we get King saying, "Today you stole the best part," because initially when King was on stage and he beat the guy up, Makoto runs up to him and goes, "You stole the best part of the show." So today it's Makoto's turn. So it seems that things move pretty quickly after this incident because obviously they know their faces. The G boys go and plant some drugs in the store. So they disguise themselves as customers, they plant drugs, and then 01, our hacker, tips off the police, and the police search the store and they find the drugs. Boom! Sorted. Issue done. So Shaggy gets arrested, the shop gets shut down, and the smoke tower is done. Gone for business, and the job is finished. We get our OP start to play, and we get a quite nice moment where Mion's mum is okay, she's out of hospital, and she goes to say thank you to Makoto. She also tells Makoto that it'd be great to have someone like you as a dad. I don't think he's that old, Mion. I really don't. I think Mion's 12, but I'm guessing Makoto's like 20 something, maybe. Nah, we don't have an age on him, so I thought I'd have oh, he's 20. Oh, I actually got it, guys. I got it right. So Makoto is 20 years old. I'm not going to read too much because I think I just saw a spoiler there. This is what happens. I try and prove myself right and I see spoilers. I'm going to pretend I didn't see that. It's fine. King's laughing at him. Makoto's kind of like, Big Ray kind of said that dangerous organizations hide behind drug dealers and drug stores. And we haven't rounded them up yet. They're still out there. So the plot is continuing. I've mentioned here, this is probably our overarching plot line going through the anime, because it seems like this is going to be quite episodic. So the first episode is just about them solve the issue of Mion, which is great. It's like episodic, but they've all got a overarching plot, which is going to be about these people behind the drug dealing. King seems to be passing it off quite lightly. He says they're probably fine. They don't know who we are. It's okay. But they're being stalked. And we end with a guy looking through binoculars at Makoto. We get Makoto go, the guy had a Kansai accent. I don't know much, but whenever I've heard the word Kansai accent in anime, it tends to point towards people who are a little bit more rebellious. They're normally it's quite a rough accent. It's normally referred to as quite a punky accent. So I feel like that's going to come back and bite them in the butt. I feel like that's going to be our main plot, which ties it all together at the end. Right, so overall, I had a lot more fun than I thought I would. As I said, I went into this completely blind. I've not watched the live drama. I barely read the information on Mal is literally all I read, and I was like, okay, that sounds interesting. I'm going to put it on the list because a few people were like, you might want to keep your eye on it. So I was like, okay, I'll keep my eye on it. I'm glad I did because I feel like I'm going to enjoy it. It feels like a an illegal version of Millionaire Detective. It's got banana fish vibes completely written all over it. It's got that proper classic anime written all over it. I'm also getting a little bit of a vibe from it, which I don't have a problem with that having a vibe. So I'm looking forward to this. I think this is going to be a fun journey. I love Makoto's character. We've already had quite a bit of character development for him. His style is also quite nice, but he does dress like my ex. So I'm like, ooh, can we maybe dress a little differently? So hopefully you guys can join me for Westgate Wednesdays. Come in and we can have a discuss about the anime, see where it's going, make some kind of pointers. I think the plot overall is going to be about who lies behind it. If it's episodic, I bet this dark organisation, this dangerous organisation is going to be something we see creeping up on us every episode. So let's see if I'm right. So thank you for tuning in, guys. So far, Monday is Golden Kamui catch-up day. So if we're watching season 3 of Golden Kamui, come join us on Monday for a talk about how the season 3 is going. It's going to be madness. It's going to be talking about boners. It's going to be great. Come in and join us. It's fun. Tuesday is going to be our dark kind of Moriarty detective story. We're going to talk about murders. It's going to be fun. Come and join us, guys. Wednesday, we're going to have Westgate Wednesday. Come join me, guys. We're going to talk about drugs. It sounds funny when I talk about the animes quickly in summary. Noblesse, which I think is Friday. Again, you'll see it when it goes up. Make sure you are subbed so you know exactly when things go up. We are also going to be reviewing Burn the Witch, but that is going to be a video all on its own, just because that is a movie. So that's going to be a hard one, but we're going to be reviewing that. Right, so thank you guys. Make sure you are subbed to the channel. And yes, we are a small growing channel. Join the tiny little community which we're building up. We get to talk about fun things and you get to kind of deal with me being awesome, I think, or weird. So yeah, thank you so much. I hope you join me next time. Have a good one, guys.